The small starship Discover drifted quietly at the edge of the Sol system. Its metallic hull, barely the size of a human lunchbox, reflected the distant sunlight. Inside, Commander Reed stared at his display screen with disbelief. He blinked his 4 eyes several times, making sure he wasn't seeing things wrong. "Run the scans again," he ordered his science officer, Jack. "These readings can't be right." Jack, standing only 8 inches tall like the rest of his crew, moved his tiny fingers across the control panel. "Sir, I've run the scan 5 times now. The readings are consistent. The dominant species on the 3rd planet, they're giants." The bridge fell silent. Reed walked to the main viewport, his steps echoing on the metal floor that would seem microscopically thin to a human. The blue planet hung in space before them, beautiful and terrifying all at once. "How big?" Reed's voice was barely a whisper. "The average specimen appears to be around 60 times our height," Jack replied, his voice trembling slightly. "They're building structures that reach into their skies. Their smallest vehicles are bigger than our largest spacecraft." Reed felt a shiver run down his spine. In all his years exploring the galaxy for the Alliance, he had never encountered anything like this. Most intelligent species they discovered were within a few inches of each other in height. The tallest known species in the Alliance barely reached 12 inches. "Show me their cities," Reed commanded. The main screen lit up with images that made several crew members gasp. Enormous structures of steel and glass rose from the ground like mountain ranges. Massive vehicles moved along wide roads, each one capable of crushing their entire ship. The giants themselves walked among these structures, their feet creating vibrations that their sensors could detect even from orbit. "They're not just big," observed Jack, excitement creeping into his voice despite his fear. "Look at their technology level. They're advanced enough for basic space travel, global communications, and they appear to be on the verge of achieving faster-than-light travel." Reed watched as one of the giants bent down to help a small animal, what the humans would call a cat, though to Reed's crew it looked like a fearsome beast. The gentle way the giant handled the creature caught his attention. "They're careful," Reed noted, stroking his chin thoughtfully. "Despite their size, they show precision in their movements. Look how they've built their world. Everything is organized, planned." The science officer brought up more images. Giants tending to tiny plants in gardens, creating intricate art, performing delicate surgery. Each image showed that despite their enormous size, these beings were capable of incredible precision and care. Reed made his decision. "Send a message to Alliance Command. Mark it urgent. Message begins. Have discovered inhabited world in Sector 7. Dominant species shows high intelligence and advanced technology. Critical note. Species size approximately 60 times Alliance standard. Requesting immediate diplomatic guidance. Be advised. Traditional first contact protocols may need significant modification." As the message was sent, Reed continued watching the planet below. A new image appeared on the screen. A giant child helping an even smaller animal, what humans called a butterfly, find its way to a flower. The contrast was striking. A being that could accidentally crush them all, showing such gentleness to something so small. "Sir," Jack called out, "Alliance Command acknowledges receipt. They're requesting we maintain orbit and continue observations. No contact until further instructions arrive." Reed nodded, his eyes still fixed on the screen. "Maintain position and continue monitoring. I want to learn everything we can about these giants. Something tells me this discovery is going to change everything we thought we knew about galactic civilization." The Discover continued its silent watch, its tiny crew documenting every detail about the colossal beings going about their daily lives below, unaware that they were being observed by visitors who saw them as living mountains. The future of galactic relations hung in the balance, all because of one simple fact: humans were giants. 2 months had passed since the first discovery. The Nevada desert stretched out under the morning sun. and in its heart stood humanity's newest and strangest building, the dual-scale embassy. One half rose high into the sky like any other human structure, while the other half looked like an elaborate dollhouse to human eyes. Dr. Anna Wilson stood at the entrance, her heart beating faster than usual. As Earth's chosen representative, she had spent weeks preparing for this moment. She watched through special glasses as Ambassador Tom's ship, no bigger than a shoebox, landed on the small landing pad. "Remember," spoke General Moore through her earpiece, "no sudden movements. Their entire delegation could fit in your pocket." The tiny ship's door opened, and Anna held her breath. Through her enhanced viewing glasses, she could see Ambassador Tom emerge. He stood proudly at 8 inches tall, wearing what must have been his finest diplomatic robes, their purple colors shimmering in the sunlight. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador." Anna spoke softly into a special microphone that adjusted her voice to a comfortable level for their visitors. She had practiced this greeting hundreds of times, making sure to control every aspect of her movement and voice. Tom looked up at her, his 4 eyes widening slightly despite his diplomatic training. "Thank you for this welcome, Dr. Wilson," he replied, his voice carried to her through special speakers. "I must admit, even with all our preparation, your scale is impressive." They moved to the conference room, specially designed with 2 levels. Anna sat in her human-sized chair on one side, while Tom and his team occupied a raised platform that put them at eye level with her. The walls were filled with screens showing both perspectives simultaneously. "Our scientists have been eager to understand how your species evolved to such size," Tom said, consulting his tiny datapad. "It's quite remarkable." Anna smiled gently, being careful not to show too many teeth. They had learned it could appear threatening to the Alliance species. "We're just as fascinated by your civilization," she replied. "The level of precision engineering in your ships and technology is amazing." The meeting continued, but was interrupted when a small tremor shook the building. Just someone closing a door too hard in the human section. Tom's security team immediately went into high alert, their tiny weapons drawn. "Please," Anna said quickly, keeping her voice steady. "It's just normal building movement. We've installed dampeners, but some vibrations still get through. I apologize for the scare." Tom waved his guards down, but Anna could see his hands shaking slightly. "You understand our concern, Dr. Wilson. A simple action from your kind could be catastrophic for us, which is exactly why this collaboration is so important," Anna replied. She reached into her pocket slowly and carefully placed a tiny object on the table. Through her glasses, she could see Tom's expression change to one of wonder. It was a microchip, created by human engineers working at their smallest possible scale. To Tom, it was the size of a large tablet computer. "This is our first gift to the Alliance," Anna explained. "We may be giants, but we can work at your scale. Imagine what we could accomplish together, your precision, and our ability to handle large-scale construction." Tom picked up the chip, examining it with growing excitement. "Remarkable," he whispered. "The council said I was taking an unnecessary risk coming here, but I'm starting to think we've discovered something extraordinary." As they continued their discussion, a small bird landed on the window outside. Tom's team watched in fascination as it flew away, to them appearing the size of a passenger aircraft. "Different scales, different perspectives," Anna said warmly, but the same desire to learn and grow. "I think that's a good foundation for friendship, don't you?" Tom nodded, his initial fear now replaced with genuine curiosity. "Indeed, Dr. Wilson. Perhaps being giants isn't just about size. It's about how you use that size that matters." Outside, the desert sun continued to shine on the strange building where 2 vastly different scales of life were learning to work together, one careful step at a time. The emergency alarms blared through the tiny corridors of the Alliance Council chamber. On the main screen, footage played that made even the bravest council members tremble. A human walked through New York City, each step appearing like an earthquake to their scale. Commander Reed watched from his seat, his face grim. The footage had been leaked by the Pure Scale Movement, a radical group opposed to any contact with the giant humans. They had edited the video to make normal human movements appear as threatening as possible, adding ominous music and focusing on the shadows cast by human feet. "Look at these monsters," shouted Council Member Black, his small frame shaking with fear. "One misstep, and they could destroy an entire city of our size." The chamber erupted into chaos. Reed looked at Ambassador Tom, who had just returned from Earth. They both knew how the footage was being misused, but fear was spreading faster than reason. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Anna Wilson received the emergency transmission about the crisis. She watched her own morning walk to work, now transformed into what looked like a horror movie for the Alliance species. Her simple act of stepping over a puddle appeared as a terrifying leap that could have crushed hundreds. "We need to respond quickly," General Moore told her, his voice tense. "The Pure Scale Movement is gaining support. They're calling for immediate withdrawal from all contact with Earth." Anna nodded, then had an idea. "Send me the footage they're using. All of it." In the Alliance Council chamber, the debate grew heated. "We should never have made contact," one member shouted. "These giants will be the death of us all." Just then, a new transmission cut through their arguments. On the screen appeared both Dr. Wilson and a normal city street at human scale. But this time, something was different. "Members of the council," Anna spoke softly, her voice carefully modulated. "I want to show you something the Pure Scale Movement didn't show you." The camera panned down. At her feet was a line of ants, marching across the sidewalk. With incredible care, Anna stepped over them, making sure not to disturb their path. The camera zoomed in to show the ants continuing their march, completely unaffected by the giant above them. "To these ants," Anna explained, "I am as giant as I appear to you. Yet they live and thrive in our cities. We've learned to coexist with creatures far smaller than us, just as we're learning to work with you." The council chamber fell silent. Reed stood up. "She's right. During our entire observation of Earth, we never once saw a human deliberately harm something smaller than themselves. They build their world with care, understanding they share it with smaller creatures." Ambassador Tom joined him. "I've been inside their buildings, eaten at their specially made tables. Yes, they are enormous by our standards, but they show nothing but patience and careful consideration in every interaction." The footage changed to show human surgeons performing microsurgery, artists painting miniatures, and scientists handling microscopic materials. "Our size gives us a different perspective," Anna continued, "but it also gives us unique abilities that could benefit both our peoples." Council Member Black stood up, his voice quieter now. "But the danger exists with any first contact," Reed interrupted. "When we first met the water-dwelling species of Aquarius 7, we feared their liquid environment would drown us. When we encountered the high-gravity species of Delta Prime, we worried their natural strength would crush us. Yet here we are, stronger for knowing them." The Pure Scale Movement's footage played again, but this time, the council watched with different eyes. What had seemed threatening now looked simply human. A species going about their daily lives, carefully navigating their world. "We propose a solution," Anna said. "Let us build more dual-scale cities, places where both our species can live and work together, with all the safety measures and size considerations needed. Let us show you that being giant doesn't mean being dangerous." Slowly, the panic in the chamber subsided. The crisis wasn't over, but understanding was beginning to replace fear. As Reed watched the council members talk among themselves, he smiled. Sometimes the biggest challenges brought the greatest opportunities for growth, no matter what size you were. The Nevada sun rose over a remarkable sight, a human construction crew working alongside Alliance engineers. Their project, the first dual-scale shopping center, would serve both species. Dr. Anna Wilson watched from the observation deck as a human worker delicately lifted a tiny prefabricated Alliance structure with special magnetic tools. "Amazing, isn't it?" Ambassador Tom stood on his raised platform beside her. "A month ago, my people were ready to end all contact. Now look at us." Below them, the human worker placed the Alliance structure perfectly into position, guided by tiny laser markers. The Alliance engineers swarmed over their section like busy ants, connecting power systems and checking measurements. "It's all about perspective," Anna replied, watching through her enhancement classes as an Alliance engineer waved a thank you to the human worker. "We're learning that size differences can be strengths." The breakthrough had come in an unexpected way. During the crisis, an Alliance medical team had discovered something fascinating: human surgical techniques. What was microsurgery for humans was normal-scale operation for Alliance doctors. This led to an explosion of medical knowledge sharing between the species. "Did you see the latest report?" Tom asked, checking his tiny datapad. "The combined medical conference was a huge success. Your microsurgeons teaching our doctors, our precision tools being adapted for your hospitals." Anna nodded, remembering the excitement when they first realized the potential. "And it's not just medicine. Your miniature technology combined with our large-scale manufacturing, we're solving problems neither of us could handle alone." They walked, or in Tom's case, rode on his hovering platform, to the new testing area. Here, human engineers were learning to use Alliance-designed tools, their giant hands guided by special haptic gloves that allowed them to feel objects at the Alliance scale. A human technician named Mike was practicing. On the screen before him, they could see what he saw through his microscope lens: tiny Alliance-scale circuit boards. Using the haptic gloves, he carefully moved components that would be nearly invisible to his naked eye. "Your people have such steady hands," Tom remarked, watching Mike work. "When we first saw humans, we thought they'd be clumsy giants. How wrong we were." The next test area showed the opposite scenario. Alliance engineers operated large robotic arms, allowing them to work at human scale. They were helping to build support structures for the shopping center's roof, their natural precision perfect for the detailed work. "It's like a dance," Anna said, watching the two species work together, each bringing their own strengths to the partnership. They passed by the education center, where young humans and Alliance children learned about each other's worlds. The human children sat very still, watching with wonder through their special glasses as Alliance teachers demonstrated their technology. On the other side, Alliance children gasped in amazement as a human teacher gently showed them how to plant trees, the process appearing epic in scale to their tiny eyes. "I remember when we first met," Tom said. "How terrified I was. You looked like living mountains to us." Anna laughed softly. "And to us, you looked so fragile, like we might break you with a wrong move. But look at us now." They reached the center of the new complex where a unique art installation was being built. Human artists and Alliance craftspeople worked together to create a sculpture visible at both scales. From human height, it looked like a delicate pattern of interweaving lines. But through magnification, one could see incredible detail at the Alliance scale, telling the story of their first contact. "The Council meets next week to discuss expanding the Joint Colony project," Tom said. "After seeing all this, I think they'll approve." Anna smiled, watching as a human construction worker high-fived an Alliance engineer's entire hovering platform. Who would have thought our biggest difference would become our greatest advantage? Outside, the dual-scale city continued to grow, a testament to what could be achieved when fear was replaced with understanding, and differences became strengths rather than barriers. Emergency lights flashed through the Alliance Command Center. Commander Reed stared at the tactical display, his 4 eyes wide with horror. 3 more frontier colonies had gone dark in the past hour. The enemy ships, belonging to the mysterious swarm, kept appearing out of nowhere, their weapons tearing through Alliance defenses like paper. "Status report," Reed commanded, his voice steady despite his fear. "Bad news, sir," his tactical officer replied. "Colony 7 is gone. The swarm's ships, they're bigger than anything we've ever built. Our weapons barely scratched them. Reed looked at the size comparison on his screen. The swarm vessels were massive by Alliance standards, each one nearly the size of a human car. The Alliance's largest battleships, designed for a species that averaged 8 inches in height, were simply too small to mount weapons powerful enough to fight back. In the human section of the Joint Embassy, Dr. Anna Wilson received the emergency transmission. The Alliance's desperate calls for help echoed through the room as she watched the footage of the attacks. Beside her, General Moore studied the tactical data with growing concern. "Their ships are getting torn apart out there," Moore said, shaking his head. "But look at the size of those swarm vessels. They're just right for us." Anna straightened up. "Get me Ambassador Tom immediately." Minutes later, Tom's frightened face appeared on the screen. Behind him, Alliance officers rushed back and forth in panic. "Dr. Wilson, the swarm. They're unlike anything we faced. Our biggest ships are like toys to them." "But not to us," Anna replied firmly. "Tom, remember what we learned about working together, about how our size differences could be an advantage. I think it's time to prove it." Understanding dawned on Tom's face. "You mean your precision technology and navigation systems," Anna continued, "combined with our size and manufacturing capability. We could build ships that could fight back." The idea spread quickly. Within hours, human engineers were working with Alliance weapons designers. What had been a weakness became a strength. Alliance technology, scaled up to human size, proved devastating against the swarm ships. In an emergency session, the human governments and Alliance Council met. The decision was unanimous. They would face this threat together. At a shipyard in orbit around Earth, the first joint species warship took shape. Named Unity *, it looked like a normal-sized vessel to humans, but incorporated Alliance technology scaled up to match. Inside, human crew members worked alongside Alliance operators, each species handling the tasks best suited to their size. "It's beautiful," Reed said, standing on his command platform on the Unity's bridge. From his position, he could look his human executive officer, Captain James, in the eye. The bridge was a marvel of jewel-scale engineering, with Alliance crew operating the precise targeting systems, while humans handled the main engineering and defensive stations. Swarm ships detected, called out an Alliance sensor operator. 3 vessels, approaching at high speed. "Ready weapons," James ordered. The human gunners worked in perfect sync with Alliance targeting specialists, their combined skills making the Unity's weapons far more accurate than either species could manage alone. The battle was fierce but quick. The swarm ships, used to bullying the smaller Alliance vessels, found themselves facing weapons that matched their size, but operated with Alliance precision. Within minutes, all 3 enemy ships were destroyed or retreating. Back at Alliance Command, the news of the victory spread quickly. What had seemed like certain defeat was turning into hope. More joint ships were already under construction, each one combining the best aspects of both species. "We've been so worried about our size difference," Tom said, watching the construction through a viewport. "We never imagined it would save us all." Anna smiled down at her small friend. Sometimes the biggest threats bring out the best in people, no matter their size. As more distress calls came in from the frontier, the Unity prepared for its next battle. In her quarters, Anna looked at a photo taken at the ship's launch. Hundreds of tiny Alliance crew members standing proudly alongside their human counterparts. Size, they had learned, was just another tool in their arsenal. And together, they were ready to use every tool they had. The massive engineering bay of the Unity buzzed with activity. Human engineers worked alongside Alliance technicians, their different sizes creating an unusual but effective workspace. The ship had just returned from another successful defense of the frontier colonies, but the swarm's attacks were becoming more frequent. James, the human chief engineer, lay on his back underneath a damaged engine component. Above him, Perched on a specially designed platform, Alliance engineer Pete directed the repairs through a magnified display screen. "A little to the left," Pete called out. "The microfractures are hard to see at your scale, but they're there." James adjusted his position, using the special haptic gloves that let him feel things at Alliance scale. "Got it. These combined tools are amazing. I can actually feel the damage now." Their success against the swarm had led to an explosion of new technological developments. What started as military collaboration had grown into something much bigger. All across Earth and Alliance space, mixed teams were creating incredible new technologies that neither species could have developed alone. In the ship's medical bay, Dr. Anna Wilson watched through her enhancement glasses as Alliance Dr. Tim performed surgery on a wounded human crew member. The precision of Alliance-scale surgical tools, operated by someone who naturally worked at that tiny scale, made previously difficult operations almost routine. "The patient's vitals are stable," Tim reported, his small voice coming through the medical bay's communication system. "These new combined medical techniques are revolutionary." Ambassador Tom entered the medical bay on his hovering platform, carrying exciting news. "The latest reports from the Joint Research Facility are in," he announced. "The teams have cracked it. They found a way to detect swarm ships before they attack." The breakthrough had come from an unexpected source. Alliance scientists, used to working at microscopic scales by human standards, had discovered subtle space-time distortions that humans couldn't detect. But human computers were powerful enough to process this information at a useful scale. "Show me," Anna requested, following Tom to the science lab. The lab was another marvel of jewel-scale engineering. Alliance scientists worked on tiny, incredibly precise instruments while humans operated the larger equipment. On the main screen, a map of space showed previously invisible swarm movement patterns. "See these patterns?" Tom pointed to tiny fluctuations, too small for human sensors to detect, too large for our traditional equipment to process. But together, we can see them coming. Anna finished. "How soon can we implement this across the fleet?" The next few days were a blur of activity. Human manufacturing facilities worked around the clock, building large-scale components that Alliance engineers then fitted with their precision technology. The result was a network of early warning stations that could detect swarm ships long before they attacked. In orbit above Earth, the first test of the new system was about to begin. James and Pete stood at their stations on the Unity's bridge, watching the screens carefully. "Contact," Pete called out. Swarm signatures detected at the edge of the system. "They're not getting away this time," James said, his hands moving across the human scale controls, while Pete's team handled the precise targeting. The battle that followed was unlike anything before. The Unity and its sister ships, guided by the new detection system, intercepted the swarm before they could attack. The combined human and Alliance fleet moved with both power and precision, their weapons finding targets that would have been impossible to hit before. When it was over, the swarm ships had been driven back, some captured intact for the first time. The knowledge they would gain from studying these ships would be invaluable. In the Unity's observation lounge, Anna and Tom watched Earth rotate below them. "You know what's funny?" Tom said. "If our species had been the same size, none of this would have been possible." Anna nodded. "The very thing that seemed like our biggest obstacle became our greatest strength. The swarm never stood a chance against both scales working together." Outside, more Joint Fleet ships moved into position, their designs a perfect blend of human size and Alliance precision. The collaboration that had started as a necessity had evolved into something neither species would ever want to give up, a partnership that made both stronger. The Grand Council chamber on Earth was a marvel of jewel-scale architecture. Alliance representatives sat on raised platforms that brought them eye level with their human counterparts. Today, the chamber was packed for a historic moment, the formal signing of the Galactic Unity Treaty. Dr. Anna Wilson stood at the main podium, looking out at the gathered delegates. Ambassador Tom stood on his platform beside her, both of them remembering how far they'd come from that first nervous meeting in the Nevada desert. 6 months ago, Anna began, her voice carried through special speakers that made it comfortable for both species. The swarm threatened to destroy everything the Alliance had built. Today, thanks to our combined efforts, they're no longer a threat to anyone. The final battle against the swarm had been decisive. The Joint Fleet, using their revolutionary dual-scale technology, had pushed deep into swarm territory. What they found there surprised everyone. The swarm weren't evil, just desperate. Their own world was dying, and they had turned to raiding out of desperation. Tom stepped forward to continue the speech. Instead of destroying them, we offered the swarm something they never expected: help. Human-scale engineering combined with Alliance precision technology is now helping to restore their homeworld. On the massive screens around the chamber, images showed the transformation. Human-sized terraforming machines, guided by Alliance control systems, were rebuilding the swarm's dying planet. Former enemies were becoming new allies. Commander Reed, now Admiral Reed, watched from his seat with pride. The Unity and its crew had led the way, showing what was possible when different scales worked together. Now, that same spirit of cooperation was spreading across the galaxy. "Look how far we've come," James whispered to Pete, both of them seated in the audience. Their engineering innovations had revolutionized spacecraft design. Now every ship in the combined fleet used dual-scale technology, each species handling what they did best. The chamber grew quiet as the treaty was brought forward. It was a unique document, one version at human scale, another at Alliance scale, both legally binding. Its terms were simple but powerful: full integration of the two civilizations while respecting their size differences. With this treaty, Anna continued, we formally establish the United Scales Alliance. No longer will size be seen as a barrier between species. Instead, it will be recognized as an advantage, a way to approach problems from different perspectives. Around the chamber, signs of this new cooperation were everywhere. Human doctors worked with Alliance medical specialists, combining their knowledge to cure diseases at both scales. Engineers from both species collaborated on new technologies that neither could have created alone. The first signatures were placed on the treaty. Anna's signature looked massive next to Tom's tiny but intricate one, yet they carried equal weight. As each delegate signed, a cheer went up from the gathered crowd. "Remember when we first met?" Tom asked Anna quietly during a break in the signatures. "You seemed as tall as a mountain to me." Anna smiled. "And you seemed as delicate as a snowflake. Now look at us. Size doesn't even seem important anymore." The ceremony concluded with an unprecedented display. Outside the chamber, a newly constructed city spread out. The first of many designed from the ground up for both species. Streets had both human-scale walkways and Alliance-scale paths. Buildings served both sizes, with technology making interaction smooth and natural. In orbit, the combined fleet held position. Each ship was a testament to their cooperation. Human-scale power and Alliance-scale precision working in perfect harmony. The swarm ships, once enemies, now flew alongside them as allies. As the sun set on this historic day, Anna and Tom stood at a viewport, watching their new world take shape. "You know what I've learned," Anna said thoughtfully. "Being a giant isn't about size at all. It's about how big you can dream, and how willing you are to work with others to make those dreams come true." Tom nodded, watching as human and Alliance children played together in a special dual-scale park below. "The galaxy's a big place," he replied. "But together, we're just the right size to explore it." Above them, the stars beckoned, no longer a barrier between species, but a frontier they would explore together, giants and small folk, united at last.